how do consumer distinct, the quality of a product like this versus everything that's out there?
I mean, I think for consumers, it's really important. I mean, with anything today, to research the brand, look at who the founding team is, look at exactly what they're doing, look at customer reviews. And fortunately, also in the cannabinoid space, there's something called the COA, which is a certificate of authenticity. You can actually look and see what are the ingredients in the products. Are there metals? Are there pesticides? What's actually in there? So it's really important to look on the websites also of these products, or if you're in store at a dispensary or a store, to look on the label, see if they have QR codes, or if you can ask the shop if there are COAs, to really look at the products and make sure that you're not taking in anything that can hurt you, especially, I mean, both the same internally or externally, right? If it's something you're ingesting, but also we now understand the impacts of what we're putting on our skin and how that impacts us as well. And yeah, it's something that we're really passionate about, because these are products that Mandy's creating, that I'm creating, to really help consumers, and you don't want to hurt them in any way or cause any negative implications for them by the ingredients that you're using. And I feel like as brands, we have a responsibility to really hold ourselves accountable to say, I'm doing the best I can for my consumers. And that may mean more expensive ingredients, that may mean more research, that may mean it's going to take longer to put this product out. But if our goal is to make a difference in somebody's life and impact them positively, it's absolutely our responsibility to do that. And unfortunately, the consumers can't trust a lot of brands. And so they have to do their work to say, is this a brand that I can actually trust or not?
How
Yes, and
important?
I think that that is so important. And also, you mentioned something is the price of the product. Usually, a good quality product will be, I mean, it's not the only criteria, for God's sake, no, because then people can just make more profit. But normally, a cheap product will have that they compete just with the price, will not necessarily be a good quality product, because it's hard to make extremely good quality product in the hemp industry with a cheap product, a cheap price. It
So you're
has to
telling
be.
me that Boone's Farm or Mad Dog wine isn't as good as pick some upper end brand here?
Woodford Reserve, yeah.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what
highly
else?
likely that what you find at 7-Eleven or at the gas station is not the kind of product that you'd put into your body. And to me, it's like terrible because of the industry that like it's not rendering just, it doesn't help the actual industry. It doesn't help the plant. That is a really, really good plant that has so many medicinal benefit. And then suddenly everybody is going on the trend, the trendy strike of, oh, I'm going to make money with CBD, and oops, I'm penetrating 7-Eleven because I have connections, or I'm penetrating, I'm naming names, not just so that we give an idea of the size and the scope of distribution, but it's not necessarily a good product. So it's not, and people are taking it like one time and say, oh, it didn't work. It's not an aspirin. It's not an aspirin. So it's talking.
One thing that's really important too that a lot of people overlook is, even when we bring a new bottle into our facility, that particular bottle that we've ordered has to be tested for heavy metals as well. If you get someone that's making a product out of their kitchen and they're not even starting with testing the specific bottle that the product's going in, you already could be heading into a disaster of heavy metals in your product. So testing the actual bottle itself and the packaging is important.
Yes, absolutely. And let's talk about the certification, because in the certification from the Physician CBD Council, we take the product in its bottle or in its packaging, if it's a tube or if it's a squeezable package, because of the potential transfer of microbes, of bacteria, of lead, because we've seen a lot of cheap packaging that is coming in from different countries, and or just people that want to make a cheap packaging that will actually look good, but the dropper sometimes has lead in the paint in which they do the gradation
The
of
markings.
the markings of the dropper. You have the actual glass often that transfer actually, heavy metals also. The little rubber squeezer that actually leaks and, bacteria go inside. So all of that is happening, but it doesn't look bad on the shelf. It looks good on the shelf. The label looks good. That's why we test the entire process in its final stage so that we can see if the packaging is transferring toxins. We can see if the product is pure. And clearly, ladies, you have gone through our heavy testing of everything and you have passed. So congratulations on that. And so what does it mean to you, Davina, for instance, what does it mean to you to have the PCC, Physicians Quality Verified seal?
It really means a lot. And the thing is, as I mentioned, from a consumer perspective, it's really hard for them to trust a product at this point. There's so many products on the market. I mean, even in the US, there's so many ingredients that we use here that are banned in other countries. And so getting clean, safe products is hard. And you can't just say, trust me, because the consumer can't just trust you. And so having the seal really does it's a trustworthy quality. It's to say that we've been vetted by a source and a group of people that are putting a lot of effort into what the seal means. There's a lot of qualifications around it, a lot of things that you have to ensure that your product is, including the packaging, or is not, to be able to get this. So for us, it's a validation to say, you can, this is another way that you can trust us. It's not just us telling you, but this is a group of physicians that have really come together to create something to build trustworthiness in an industry that has lost some trust with the consumer. So we're really thankful for it. It really is a strenuous process to go through, but it holds you accountable to say we are who we are and our products are actually what they are and the ingredients in them are what they are as well. So I appreciate you creating this because it really is important to set aside the brands that are trying to do it right from the ones that really don't care at this point.
Yeah, Mandy, you ran with it. Like you put your seal on your label and under your arm and just went. You ran with it. You're in Vogue, you're in Allure, you're in so many magazines. How did that help, position your product above the crowded market?
It was everything to me because I worked alongside a physician for 10 years. I know the importance of having a physician next to you, educating you, backing you a little bit. But the thing that's really funny is that this seal is more important to me than FDA seal at this point. Because I'm watching what the FDA allows in so many products, just like Davina said. I think there's like a handful that we're not allowed to work with in the US, but you go over to EU standards, which is how I build all my products out, is based on the EU standards. There's over 1,200, 1,300 that you're not allowed to touch. And I just, my advice to any brand going forward, look at the EU standards when you're building your product, because they're a little more strategic about what they don't allow in there. But I don't trust the FDA like I used to many years ago. You would trust that a seal. So to me, your seal is above what that FDA seal could do for me at this point, because I've watched who they gave their seal to. You guys are much more strategic, which to me makes me feel proud.